Hi, my name is Blair Brown, and today I'm going to be taking you through your Fit Fundamental workout that's going to focus on common exercises that come up in the Fit Forever program that might cause increased stress in through your knees and lower body, given you have a history of either knee pain, dysfunction, or just have a lack of tolerance for that position. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the position first, then I'm going to take you through a series of strategies on how to be able to modify seamlessly as you're going through your Fit Forever program. So when these exercises come up, you'll know exactly what to do to keep up and working towards your goals that you have for your health and fitness. When you're done with this workout, make sure you go back and click it as one of your favorites, as these concepts might take a little bit of practice, and you might want to reference them a couple times or frequently depending on how things come up in your program. So let's get started. We're going to start in a kneeling position. So that means having one foot in front and another leg in back. So often this position can be uncomfortable because it puts a lot of pressure in through that knee joint that you're weight bearing on. If you have issues in this position, you can always work on folding up a towel, an exercise mat, and placing it under the knee. If that doesn't work, then I recommend finding a chair that doesn't have any arms. This is one of my favorite pieces of equipment to help modify this position so you can keep up with the exercise in your program. So let's come over to the chair. So you want to sit so that the chair back is at one side, and it's going to be obviously at the side that's on the same as the leg in front. So for example, an exercise that might come up in your Fit Forever program is you would be kneeling here, using some tubing to create a little resistance and core engagement, and then working on some controlled rotation. So here we're working on balance, core stability, but we're still putting pressure through that knee. So finding your friend the chair, getting into position, and then repeating that same exercise where you have this pull apart and rotation here. So let's go through 6 repetitions with this on each side. I want you to really get comfortable with what it feels like to stabilize. Believe it or not, it's a little bit challenging to sit on the chair this way. It looks easy, but it's still creating that instability component, which is making it still such an effective exercise for you. So grab your tubing, establish a nice pull apart here so that you're engaging through your chest, your core, lock your spine and core in place, and let's work on a rotation just to where opposite hand and knee are stacked on top of each other, and then back to center. And then rotating back to center. We want to make sure this back leg is as vertical as you can make it. Reason being is not only are you getting all the other benefits out of this exercise, but you're working on that mobility in through your hip flexors and your quadricep muscles that really need to be flexible in order to decrease the amount of tension in through your kneecap when kneeling. Let's switch to the other side. So establishing our position, making sure you're nice and anchored in the chair first. Take a look at that position of that back leg, getting a nice pull apart here, and then rotating just to where that hand is stacked on top of the front knee, and back to center. Let's go for 6 repetitions. This is 1. Don't lose that pull, engage your core. 2. Shoulders down and back. 3. Really grounding through both legs. 4, 2 more. 5, and 6. Awesome work. So another exercise that comes up fairly frequently in the Fit Forever program is going from a full kneeling position, sitting the hips back, hinging, and then driving up forward. It's a wonderful exercise for strengthening your glutes and your core. However, again, we have that load through our knees here. So let's find our friend the chair again. And a great modification here is just a good old sit to stand. We're getting that same hip hinge that we're getting in that last exercise and back up, but we're not putting that weight of our body through our knees. So let's work on adding a chest press with the band, because sometimes we'll be using a medicine ball or resistance tubing anchored behind us in an exercise like that. So you're going to start standing away from your chair. Let's establish that same pull apart that we did with the last exercise. I want you to sit your hips back, keep that stretch, neutral spine, core locked in place. Pull your hands back towards your chest as you stand up. Then you sit back and down. That's 1. Now, if you can't make it to the chair seat, then you just go as far as you can. 2. You're still getting that hip hinge and drive in through your glutes and engagement through your core by combining this with an upper body movement. Let's do 2 more. This is 1, stretch out as you sit, pull back, and final 1. Amazing. Okay, so finally we're gonna move into the hands and knee position, which is a really common position to exercise in for strengthening your core, also working on mobility of the spine and the hips. So I'm gonna show you how to use the chair to replace a couple common exercises that we do here on hands and knees. For example, coming down onto hands and knees, we often do an exercise we call the bird dog, where you extend one leg and reach the opposite arm forward. Now again, we're putting pressure through one wrist and one knee, which can be fairly challenging if that position is uncomfortable, let alone adding that balance component. So finding your chair, you can use the chair seat, which is a more advanced modification, or you can use the backrest of the chair for a little more elevated position. I would establish a little bit wider than hip distance stance, and here you can go into that opposite arm and leg position, still getting that great core engagement, strength through the spinal extensors, all without having to put pressure through your knees. So let's go through 6, 3 on each side. Remember, lock your core in place, establish that neutral spine position, and lift opposite arm and leg. You can also modify it if this is too much of a balance challenge to start, doing one leg at a time, leaving both hands on the chair. Let's do 1 more. Excellent. So another exercise in hands and knees that we do for spinal mobility is one called thread the needle and then cat-cow. So for thread the needle, we start in hands and knees, and then we work on rotating through the spine and shoulders. And then with cat-cow, we're working on rounding the spine into flexion and then arching into extension. So for using the chair, you can use, again, either the seat of the chair or the back of the chair or the seat, working on rotation in through the spine, stretching and reaching the shoulder away and back up. So it always helps to bend that supporting elbow as you reach that other arm, twisting the spine. You can always use the seat of the chair for a more challenging position, or the back again for a little less pressure through your upper body. Let's do 1 more on each. And now for cat-cow, you have 2 options. You can be either using the seat of the chair, the back of the chair, or you can sit. Depends on what feels best for your back. Sitting's a more loaded position for the spine, but you can work on that same roundness and extension into whatever range feels right for you. Either seated on the chair where there's no pressure through your knees or your upper body, or working in that same position, rounding up and then extending to whatever comfort works for your body. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you found this tutorial on how to modify different kneeling positions helpful for you, because change comes with commitment. The more you commit to your fit fundamental routines and your strengthening routines, the better you're gonna feel, and hopefully having these modifications will really empower you to push forward on your journey. I look forward to seeing you again soon.
Never miss the latest videos from your Dr. Design fitness experts. Subscribe now.